Hi everyone, this is Tish Aitken, and I'm here to discuss a very big month ahead, which is the month of July, because we're going to be in eclipse season. And eclipses are a big deal. We have a new moon and a full moon every month, and that can represent the new moon is a time of setting intentions. The full moon often can bring things to fruition or completion. But with eclipses, they're involved with the nodes of fate, and the nodes are the intersection of the sun's path and the moon's orbit. And so the sun and the moon, the sun and the moon need to be within 17 degrees of the nodes of fate in order to have an eclipse, and it's like a new moon or a full moon on steroids. And what happens with a solar eclipse, the moon passes between the earth and obscures the sun, and brings things to light. In this case, it's a total solar eclipse on July 2nd, which is going to be within 7 degrees of the north node. The sun and the moon are going to be conjunct in the sign of Cancer. Sorry, I'm crying a little bit. At 10 degrees and 37 minutes of Cancer. And that is a cardinal water sign, and the cardinal signs are the ones that have the most reaction and get things going. And they also set off the story that we've been working with all year, with Saturn in the sign of Capricorn in its rulership, with Pluto, the planet of transformation, in Capricorn, and the south node of karma, what we're meant to release, what we're meant to let go, and what we're meant to master this next couple of years. And so with the solar eclipse is going to be at 10 degrees and 37 minutes of Cancer. It's falling in the 9th house, which is higher education, big thoughts and big ideas, travel. It can be wishes, it can be hopes, it can be visions and dreams, but hopefully it's raising your awareness. Eclipses are meant to raise awareness, and they can be like wild cards. They can be very erratic and unpredictable, but you know that they're going to bring big shifts in consciousness. And for some, it can be a time of crisis. It is a very heightened time and frenzied time. Emotions run high during eclipse periods, but it also can bring, the ancients viewed eclipses as ominous and as scary times, and predicted them for the leaders of nations. But now eclipses can be, again, they are very unpredictable. Whatever area it's falling in your chart, there is going to be activity. It's just going to be unpredictable. And I think with this is heightened because the chart itself has Scorpio ascendant and at 5 degrees, and Uranus in Taurus falls on the descendant, which is the angle of relationships. So that's kind of like eclipse too. Uranus is very unpredictable. It's very exciting. It's brilliant energy, but it can be where things happen out of left field. It brings lots of change, and eclipses in and of themselves bring a lot of change. When eclipses are in cardinal signs, they really get things going. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And this eclipse at 10 degrees and 37 minutes of Cancer, which you also could round to 11 degrees, this is basically setting off where Saturn was last year, close enough, because Saturn's stationed at 9 degrees of Capricorn in 2018. So it could set off some stuff that we're all structuring. I mean, this whole Capricorn story by both of these eclipses this month of July is going to be underscored, reinforced. It's all about transformation. Hopefully you are purging and releasing things that aren't working for you. It's restructuring. Saturn and the South Node are exactly conjunct at 17 degrees, and that defaults back to the solar eclipse that really commenced the whole year, which was on January 5th, 2019, and it was at 15 degrees of the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn. There were more planets in Capricorn and in cardinal signs at that time, which again is really about moving forward, but still this is kind of bringing up what was going on, because eclipses do pick up where we left off. If there was a lot of change in your life in the beginning of January, and we certainly began the year on a very cardinal tone, meaning moving ahead and moving with intention. This is checking in with yourself about what have you done to, launch your goals. What have you done about the things that keep coming up that aren't working? And, Capricorn is a reality, it's a reality sign. Saturn is definitely the reality planet that makes you evaluate what is and what is not working, and makes you face it. You can't sweep it under the rug. And with eclipses, it brings, it's like a spotlight in whatever area of your life it's on. And if you have planets at the or points at the cardinal signs between approximately, I'd say, 7 and 13 degrees of the cardinal signs, and again, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, that's going to be emphasized even more for you. But we're all feeling that on the collective. And if you don't know where 10 to 11 degrees of Cancer falls in your chart, you can go to sites like Cafe Astrology or astro.com and plug in your birth info. If you know your time of birth, it'll show what house you're experiencing that growth. And a solar eclipse is like a new moon on steroids. It is definitely a time of setting intentions. The sun gets knocked out for a little bit, it's not visible for a bit, and it comes back on, and we see things in a new light. And I remember once it was a solar eclipse, and I was trying to get a cab. I was late for an appointment, and I was on 10th Avenue, and I was waiting, and I was really running a risk of being late. And this guy came by and was on a motorcycle and said, "Do you want to ride?" And I thought to myself, well, it's a solar eclipse. Unpredictable things happen. He looked like an okay guy, and I figured I got to get to this appointment, because I did. And so I took a motorcycle ride through Central Park and got to my appointment on time. But I really did see things in a different light. I saw into the cabs and the cars passing through. I made eye contact with drivers, and that's not normally how I travel through the city. So that day, metaphorically, is what an eclipse happens. What happens during an eclipse, you do see things through a different light. But a new moon is a time of setting an intention. The moon is in its rulership in the sign of Cancer. So it's a very emotional full moon, a new moon rather, but it's a cardinal one. Take action. Connect with what your goals are this next 6 months until we're back in eclipse period. Check in on how you've progressed since the beginning of the year, when we had so many planets in Capricorn and in cardinal signs beckoning you to really, move forward what you want to do, because Saturn rules time and you want to make the most of it. And I think this new moon, it falls in the 9th house, which deals with higher education and with expansion. We have the North Node of Destiny, is again where we want to grow. So with Cancer, nurturing yourself, nurturing your beliefs, and we have Mercury and Mars are in Leo. Mercury will retrograde 5 days after the eclipse. It's going to retrograde on July 7th. So we're getting in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, which means that we're going to get into review period, but really go forward. I think this is an exciting eclipse. I think the fact that Uranus is on an angle of relationships, that, eclipses, both solar and lunar. I know solar eclipses are more about new beginnings, and they tend to deal more with self and are more Aries in nature, and full moon eclipses are Libra in nature and tend to be more about completion and release. But I've seen major beginnings and endings occur on both solar and lunar eclipses. I think it really is that it catalyzes change and hopefully awareness and raising your vibration. So feel what you want, go for it, and start acting with intention, because it's a powerful summer, and we have a lot ahead of us this next year and a half with the Capricorn story that's also being underlined by this eclipse. So thank you very much, and good luck.